The sky didn't just crack, it shattered, spitting a jagged, strobe light glare that transformed the oak branches into grabbing, ghostly hands. Between the deafening rumble of thunder, the only sounds were the frantic rhythm of my heart and my feet sinking into the rotting mulch of a forest floor that seemed to be reaching at my limbs. Wait, what? No, there was none of that, you unreliable narrator. It was a quiet morning of late winter when I received a simple notification mail from Amazon that my Prime Video membership payment had failed. I checked and my card statement mentioned none of that. That failure just didn't exist outside of Amazon's infernal, probably AI-powered machine. It stumbled on its own feet and set in motion a series of events that came next. Only a couple of weeks later, Sky Showtime Paramount cordially informed me they will be raising prices on my subscription, being an early adopter with a lifetime bonus that amounted to peanuts, something like 50 euro cents more, but it was the 50 that tipped the scale. I imagined myself looking at those two, asking,
"What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately? What have you done for me lately?"
Deafening silence. I already felt a moral unease about the things we all witnessed over the pond in the past year or so. Manifest acts of corruption of a scale and candor that will make an Eastern European nation's government red with envy. I'm paying for a teeny tiny piece of that from 5,000 miles away like a dumbass. On top of that, these two services have always been unreliable in meeting my needs, and because I had them for quite a long time, they also had ample opportunities to disappoint. When I joined Prime Video, I remember rewatching silly comedies like Naked Gun and Airplane series on the surface, the type of material I will never put in my Blu-ray collection, but that's exactly the entertaining slop one would expect to stream on a random weekend night. And yet, when I wanted to share them with my oldest kid, I discovered these movies were no longer available on the catalog. At some point, I put the Man with No Name trilogy on my list, but when we were ready to watch it, they were no longer to be found. Then they reappeared. Then they disappeared once more. Likewise, when my kid was old enough, I introduced him to the Star Trek series. We started them on Netflix because my streaming rooster is a cascading tray of services, starting with the ones used the most. But at some point, as we were just reaching Deep Space Nine, Netflix announced that Star Trek of any kind is leaving the service.
Fear not, my son, as we gave Paramount our rules, and Paramount owns Star Trek. We'll be fine.
But when the moment came, I discovered that out of all the Star Trek series, Deep Space Nine is the one not available, in my region at least, on the Sky Paramount venture.
Why, Paramount, why? Think of the children!
So, they gave me the pretext, the moral conundrum, and the dissatisfaction, an enhanced version of Ensh. Ensh is a new word that gets thrown around more and more as we perceive it more frequently in our everyday reality. A while ago, YouTube was awash with videos about the Ensh of video streaming services and the resurgence of piracy.
How can they be so dumb? Can't they see?
Well, I don't think it's as easy as they dumb. I don't think Ensh is simply a product of being blindsided by greed or corporate incompetence. I believe it is a function of late-stage capitalism, and in the absence of strong competition that operates differently, it is an unavoidable stage most companies find themselves trapped into. There are two stages to a public-facing business that sells a service with a perpetual paid subscription. Now the situation is a little more complicated for a hybrid service that also serves ads. It's even worse for a free service that relies on serving ads and selling intelligence. I'm only focusing here on the first model. The first stage is the exploration stage. We can call this the honeymoon phase. It's when the company is young and is the customer's best friend and seemingly can do no wrong, coming with great ideas left and right and selling a great product for cheap. It's a period when the company experiments the most with their services, invests heavily in innovation, and casts a wider and wider net to reach an ever-growing customer base. The substance they sell is cheap, convenient, and the company's entire drive is for the customer to be happy and pass along this information to as many people as possible, so too they can get captured. Hell yeah, go ahead, share your password, let others experience this nirvana. Prices can stay low because financials and operating costs and losses don't matter in this phase, as the company doesn't really sell to the customers, they sell to the investors. They sell growth in the customer base and an ever-growing business and potential future earnings. In exchange, the investors foot the bills. The confidence is high, the valuation keeps rising, existing investors' portfolio grow limitless, and new investors willing to buy in queue up around the block. Everyone is incredibly happy. This phase can last multiple years, if not decades, especially if it's a company with a global ambition and a suitable product. But at some point, the S-curve reaches its peak. The stream of new customers dries up and is no longer able to offset the numbers of customers naturally exiting the system. On top of that, by now the competition has probably stiffened and is side-biting chunks out of the pie, making a difficult situation worse. This moment ushers in the second stage of the company, the exploitation phase. It's a dramatic, yet most of the time silent gear shift in how the company operates. Growth must be accounted for somewhere, and in the absence of growth in the customer base, there is no more growth on the perceived value on the financial market. Growth on the accounting ledger is now needed. Innovation and diversification of the product becomes secondary, because there are no more free customers on the market ready to be captured. The only way forward is to optimize the existing asset to the max. That's where whatever innovation efforts are still left are targeted towards. Year-to-year growth in profits can only be achieved now by widening the gap between costs and revenue. Costs must come down, while prices need to go up. It's that simple. And it's not really a choice. The company has now backed itself into a corner. The expectation of growth has been poisoned by years past when growth was abundant. But now, in the age of heavily diminished returns, it's hard to compete with its own past. And while the cost reduction might be imperceivable as a customer, it usually isn't, the inevitable cascading hikes in prices are undeniable. As customers, we experience this combination as pain, and we call it ttification. But ttification is not something new. It just has a new name. It manifested in one way or the other since the invention of the financial markets as a meta way of assigning perceived financial value and removing concepts like sole ownership, loyalty, and pride from doing business. Companies just recently started to grow explosive enough, quick enough, and be global enough for the effects to be clearly observable within a short time frame. And here I am, back where I started. They gave me the pretext, the moral conundrum, and the dissatisfaction. So, I just deleted this pain. Now, I still see at least a couple of new contenders. Who's willing to serve me the next pretext?
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye,